Good morning, friends, and welcome to Gardening with Creekside. Today, we're going to show you how the flowers that show up in the gardens, in your front doorsteps, how they come into reality. Because a lot of times, people think that the flowers just magically appear. So today, we're taking a behind-the-scenes look at what it takes to keep a family business garden center e-commerce store thriving throughout the entire year, because there's a lot of things that happen behind the scenes. So today's that little behind the scenes tour. We are in the big house up here at production. We've got the team working. We have got folks pulling orders, and we're potting up more plants. That is right. We're continually restocking those plants so that we can have gorgeous flowers for you sweet folks all year long. Also, Jerry's going to join us just in a little bit because he has been working on a project, because we're going to have a big project happening this summer that we're going to share with you up here at production, because as he says, if you're not growing as a business, you're dying. So you know us, we're going to grow. Before we get into the project, this is the behind the scenes that takes place. All of these little pots that you can see, these are Creekside Champions Perennials that are getting ready to be potted up along. I believe we also have some annuals that would be potted as well, because in order to supply flowers, that means we're constantly growing. Of course, the late winter, early spring is a massive time for when we are growing plants. But as you see, we've got trays here on the floor of more plants that we have got to get potted up. There's a mix of annuals and perennials. Brittany's over here. She's been working getting some perennials ready because Jerry is joining us. Speaking of, there he is. So we are going to get the machine going and get these plants potted up. So right now, what Brittany's done is she's got some Shasta daisies and some Nephofia over there ready to go, and we're just going to get more plants going. This spring has brought tremendous growth to Creekside. The garden center is absolutely killing it. Every weekend is a big week. The e-commerce store has grown by like 100% almost every month this spring. And for those of you that have ordered from Creekside, we so appreciate your orders. We appreciate your patience and understanding, because a growing nursery, any growing business, brings about its challenges, and this spring has been different here at Creekside. So a couple of things have happened. We've had some staffing issues. We have had inventory issues, meaning plant crops that were lost before they even got to us. So we had pre-sold the plants, of course, in the fall, and then there were issues with suppliers above us, so then we couldn't get those plants. So then you're scrambling to find those plants. And then computer systems. You know, when technology works, it's great. And when it doesn't, dear heavens, you want to bang your head against a wall. So I know there's at least 500 of you out there waiting on this crop, and I have got some great news. Let me share it with you. Probably our #1 selling Creekside Champion Perennial this year was the flock of flamingos at Penstemon, and they sold like hotcakes. And then you couple that with computer systems that are not operating as they should, and we were kind of left in a lurch and did not have enough of flock of flamingos. So I know that there's 500 of you waiting on your flock of flamingos to come, but look at those beautiful plants, y'all. They are so close for us to send out to you. This is, of course, a gorgeous, gorgeous perennial, but what we're waiting on to send it to you is to make sure that those roots are completely filling out these pots so that they make it safely home to you. But we are very, very encouraged. Like I said, it is not going to be long, and these flock of flamingos are going to be flying to their new home. That's the thing we always say about when you're ordering plants online. I don't care what nursery you're ordering plants, you know, online from, but ordering plants is very different than, say, ordering a t-shirt, right? Because the t-shirts, they're ready, they're just sitting there, no big deal. When you're growing plants and shipping plants, it is a whole new ball game. So to all of you who are waiting on your flock of flamingos, so patiently. We greatly appreciate it, because our #1 goal is always to bring you the strongest, healthiest plant possible. And sometimes there are messes, but 99% of the time it is great successes. So again, thank you. So that means all of these babies are sold, so we're getting more of them potted up because it is in great demand. So what we're gonna do is, production is happening. Of course, orders are being picked since Jerry came. Let's talk about this big project that is going to be happening this summer. So we've already talked about this a little bit, but it's actually happening. The wheels are in motion, my friend. So let's get Jerry mic'd up and we'll talk about it. All right, so for those of you that have followed Creekside for a relatively length of time, you know that we have a potting machine vital to the production side of Creekside. And we've had some messes and successes with it, but we have actually kind of outgrown this machine. So Jerry has pulled the plug and made the big purchase of a new fancy machine. So he is going to kind of walk us all through.
Now, I'd like to talk about this guy right now.
That's what I was going to say. We're going to talk about the old machine and then the new machine and why we've outgrown this machine and going into a new machine. So let's talk about that.
We thought this was really cool, and it is cool. I have the big 4-yard hopper, and it's attached right to the whole unit. And at the time when we bought this machine, we were doing 3-gallon potting. So we had this drill that pre-drills the hole in the 3-gallon, so you can put like a cord or a 4-inch shrub plug into the 3-gallon. So we don't even use this part of this machine anymore. We basically use this as a glorified flat filler, like what we're getting ready to do right now. That is like 99% of what we do is filling those flats. So the machine that we've purchased is really designed for that. So we're going to get rid of this one. You know, hopefully find someone that will want to add this to their nursery line or production line. You can do up to 7 gallons in this guy. You can, you know, program lots of different things. So, but anyway, it's 4 yards here. It's got all the, it's got the big, this is the, we just have these small conveyors in here right now, but it's got that big 20-foot takeoff conveyor that'll go with it. And then it's all controlled on this front board here. Everything is controlled and programmed here for what you're wanting to do, that kind of thing. So they're gonna have some little more bells and whistles on this new machine. So just kind of cleaning off the pots with air lines, vibrations, better paddles to compact the soil when it's going in. It's going to have an automatic feel. So our outdoor hopper is going to be outside, so it's going to hold up to 6 yards of soil outside, and then that's feeding inside the building. So speaking of the building, we're going to build a new building for it, you know, so that way we're out of the greenhouse, and then we're going to cart everything to our greenhouse. It's kind of like what we do now, and then it will be stationary and no longer move. We move this machine around. So yeah, so you want to go talk about the building?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Yeah, so this is we bring in the tractor trailers through here, back them up. That's our new dock that's over here. And this section is kind of giving you perspective. And behind the camera is the big greenhouse. So up here, this is what we're starting with this building. We have sidewalks that connect all of the greenhouses. The only place that we don't have a sidewalk going to are the big outdoor pads. So that'll be figured out, because, you know, I don't want to pour out there yet, just because the simple fact that, you know, there may be another greenhouse that goes out there, you know. So yes, they do. So me and Jackson have been working on this behind the scenes a little bit when we had some time. So we've been digging this out and trying to level off a 30 by 70 pad It'll be an A-frame style building, you know, totally insulated. Put in some climate control, that kind of stuff in there. But this is the pad itself. So actually I've got to come and dig a little further from that blue marker that's over here. So this is the corner. It was the original corner. And this is where we thought that we were going to start the building. But this section here, from the sidewalk, probably, you know, here somewhere is going to be a roll-up door on the side of the building. And then we're going to go from here and dig out another 20 feet this direction. And I've got some more soil that's got to come out here. Got to be careful because we have a shallow power line that is underground over here. So we're going to take out some more of this soil here, and then probably a little retaining wall to hold it back. But we'll have this entire space here away from where the potty machine is actually going to be. So this will be like a 20 by 30 section of the entire building. But the potty machine will go down this way some. And then on this outside, this is where I was talking about with the larger 6-yard hopper. So when we're, no more machines coming in and out of the greenhouse, no machines coming inside this building unless we want to. But when we're loading soil, it's all happening outside. So it's a real big change for us on that aspect. But also the storage and different things that we can do inside this building. I'm not really made up my mind what I'm going to do back here, but anyway, it will be part of the whole building, and it'll have entrance on the side and an entrance out the back, and then it'll go concrete all the way down to greenhouse 3, connects to our existing paths taken to the other houses.
So with any small business, any business in general, right, you're always trying to be the most efficient and the most, use your money in the most effective manner possibly you can. And so like with the greenhouse that we were just in, that potty machine, it takes up like valuable floor space where we could have plants sitting there. So there's that. And then there's the aspect of like filling the hopper, because as you've seen on videos, and Jerry was just talking, only he and Jackson can currently fill the hopper because they have to bring in the skid steer, lift it up. You have to be super careful because there's lights, there's the infrastructure, the rafters up there, and not to hit it. So it is limiting in who can fill up the hopper. And then when you put it outside, basically anybody that can operate the machine, you're not having to worry about them like tearing something up as far as when they go up and down. And so that will make life so much easier, so that Jerry doesn't have to be like tied down to always filling up the machine or something like that.
And Jackson's the one that's been doing it.
He's really good, people.
Yeah, Jackson's been doing it.
So, and then just the floor space, and then having that machine in here in a dedicated building will make a huge difference, because of storage, and then like cleanliness, and because obviously when you're filling up machines with pots and everything, like the greenhouse quote gets dirty because of all the soil that goes around. And so it's just trying to be the most efficient, and then growing as we are. It's just the next step for right now. Yeah,
and so we're just trying to make sure that we get all that done now. The machine should be here in August.
Right. So the hotter months tend to be, well, I would say slower. It's never slow here, but the hotter months tend to be the better time to do these big projects, whether it's like big landscaping projects at the house or projects like this here at the nursery, because that's not our main like growing time. While we can still be growing plants and all of that, obviously the big time is late winter, early spring. And so we want to make sure that everything is ready to go at that point in January, essentially. So we've got to get a building built, the machine in here, concrete poured, just one or two things on top of some of the other stuff that we have going on. But it's never boring. If you own your own business, whether it is a small family business or a multi-billion-dollar corporation, you know it is never boring and there's always a project to be done. And so it is here at Creekside. So that is the big project for this summer in the production realm. So let's go back down and we're going to get some plants potted up.
Yep.
In case you've missed that and have never seen us pot some plants, we're going to show you how we do it. Okay, my friends, we are on the last batch of plants to be potted up. I think it is some of the Creekside Champions sunflowers. So we have got all of the plants that are needed to be potted. They have been potted. We are still in the shade in this portion of the greenhouse. But let me tell you, it is going to be a toasty day. And yeah, we're already glistening. I had to grab a rubber band from the plant tags to pull my hair up, because if you're a southerner, you know that long hair and humidity, they don't mix very well. But get this done, then we'll move on down and take on another project of the day. But hopefully you have enjoyed and learned something about running a small family nursery. A little bit of a behind the scenes look. The fun never ends. So as always, we so appreciate you. Y'all have an amazing day. We'll see you in the next video. Bye, friends.